And we are back. Another outstanding episode of the Square Table Degenerates. Today we are joined by former Ohio State and Raiders cornerback, Mr. Gareon Conley. How are you today, sir?
I'm good. How you doing?
Not too bad, man. Just like I said, just chilling, smoking. You know how we do it. You're chilling with your workouts, man. The workout, what'd you do, like cardio? Did you do a bunch of weights? What'd you do?
Man, so I'm doing rehab at Exos in Frisco.
Okay.
Um, so I haven't been able to run in like 2 years, damn near. So I'm doing rehab for my lower body, but I gotta like condition and get in shape as well. So I do. I started doing 2-a-days on Mondays and Thursdays. So I had a upper body workout and PT today. So,
Okay. Get back in shape. Nothing wrong with that for sure. Now, the internet says you were born in Massillon. Is that part correct? Massillon, Ohio, obviously?
yeah,
Okay. Now, did you get one of those little tiny baby
Football.
footballs in your little crib when you were born, when you were a little baby? They give them out to, for those who don't know, if you're not from Ohio, in Massillon, when they have baby boys are born, they can put a little football in their crib. And when the little girls are born, they put a little cheerleader pom-pom in the little bassinet at the hospital. It's a cool tradition.
Yeah, I got one, and then they sent me one for one of my sons as well.
Oh, okay. Nice. Now, is there any story behind your first name? Is that like your dad's name, or is there a tradition there? What's the story behind your name?
My mom wanted to be my dad's name, so she said,
Okay,
"Made up."
cool. No, with that, I mean, at the end of the day, the mom has the last say in the name. So the mom's just gonna name with babies whatever they want, you know.
I know how that goes.
Right. All right. Obviously, you don't remember, but like when you were a little toddler, and did you have any stories like you were running around really fast, dashing around, getting into stuff, or what was your preschool life like compared to what people told you? You know what I mean?
You said like preschool?
Yeah, like when you were a toddler, were you like a little fast little guy just running around getting into stuff? And what was your psyche back then?
Around, yeah, long time. I remember running from my mom. We had like this pole in our front yard. I remember her like around the pole when she was trying to whoop me. I think I was like 3 years old, but yeah, I used to run around a lot. Definitely.
Oh, yeah. All right. What sports did you play when you were first coming to grade school?
I was a hooper. That's it.
Okay.
Never football. I didn't play football my first year until 7th grade. I was a hooper since second or third grade. I love basketball. Never watched football. Never played. Played like backyard, but never played pee wee. None of that.
Okay, so you're coming up playing basketball. Were you a Cavs fan? Did you have any team you were rooting for?
I didn't have no team. I never had a team. I liked AI, of course. Never really had a team. I never really watched TV for real. I was always just outside. Like I still don't watch sports for real.
Okay. I get it. I mean, you want to be active. You want to go outside and do stuff. I mean, I don't really beyond,
I mean, I play the game too. I just don't. I don't know. I can't watch it. I get bored. I watch a lot of film, like when I'm studying players and stuff. But watch the games. Like I think, I didn't even watch the whole Super Bowl because I left to come down here or up here. I never watched the full Super Bowl. I never watched the full game ever.
I was usually loaded by the end of the Super Bowl, like by the end of the game. I remember the one, God, it was the one, it was one of Brady's first ones. I was back in college, maybe 02. The one where they had the field goal at the last second. I didn't remember any of it. I'd like go back and watch it the next day. Like, what happened? Who won? What happened in that game? I totally forgot. It was funny. Now, what at some point did you what turned you on to football? Were some of your buddies doing it? Or did you have coaches saying, "Hey, Gary, you should try playing some football"? What was up with that?
Yeah, I just tried it. My friends were when I went to a new school in 7th grade. They were just playing, and I just tried it. I played running back 7th grade. That was when I first started playing football. And then 8th grade, I played quarterback. And then my freshman year, we moved back to Mass. So I went to Canton schools. I moved a lot. I went to like 12 different schools. Um, I was in Canton at the time in middle school when I started playing. And then I moved back to Massillon my freshman year. And I was mad as hell that I had to move. So I was just like, man, I ain't playing football. Like, because I had planned to like play basketball because the coach at the school I was at, he was going to let me and a couple of my friends, we were going to be on varsity. So we were like, we ain't going to play football. We're just going to focus on basketball. So I moved, and they were talking about Massillon. You know, it was this big football school and everything. And I'm just like, all right, I'm gonna try it out because I didn't want to play. But they had a kid that was already their like quarterback that they wanted to play quarterback. So the first day I went, the coach was like, "What position you play?" I was like, "I play quarterback." He was like, "We thinking about like playing receiver or something because we got a quarterback already." And I was like, "All right, I quit." So first day I just didn't play. So I didn't play my freshman year at all. And then my sophomore year, a lot of people don't know, I was on JV. I tell people like I played JV, and then I sat back and I said I didn't even play JV. I was on JV because I never even got in on JV. And I was number 97 on JV. Nobody knows that. And I didn't even touch the field. But in practice, when I was on scout, I used to kill everybody on varsity. Like they could not stop me. Like so, I should have played, but they didn't play me. So I was just like, man. After that, I'm like, I'm not playing football. Like I'm just gonna do track because I ended up being on track. I ended up being on varsity track my freshman year.
Okay.
So I was like, I'm gonna just play hoop and I'm gonna run track. Like fuck football. Like they playing with me, I don't want to play. So then Devin Smith, me and him are real close, and then his little brother was like my best friend in high school. He was going to Ohio State. You know, he was doing really good at Massillon, and he was telling me, mind you, I'm a hooper, and I'm playing like the 4 and the 5 because I'm like the taller kid. Not even playing my position, and Massillon's not good at basketball. So he's like, bro, you might as well just play football. Like I'm going to Ohio State. Like you see what they do, and like you got a better chance. So I'm thinking about it like, man, I possibly could go to college for free. So my parents don't have to pay for school or whatever. And then there was an opening spot at corner that next year because 2 corners were leaving. And which actually is crazy. The corner coach at the time, he came from McKinley. And he had coached Mike Doss. His name was John Miller, called him Spider. He was like, we got an opening corner spot. You should come play football. He was like, you need football, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, no, I'm not playing. Like, fuck that. I'm not playing. But I ended up making the decision. I'm like, yeah, I'll play. So I played corner for the first time ever my junior year in high school. And I ended up just like doing good and I started getting offers.
Okay, now hold on. Where was I at? Oh, I gotta settle you a rumor or ask. There's a rumor. Now I don't know if I just thought this when I was high one day or something, but I read somewhere that at Massillon, occasionally if there's a backlog at a position, like say they got a quarterback in there, but they got another guy coming up and they want to play him his max time, they'll hold him back a year or ask him to stay back a year in school. Is that true?
Shit, I don't know. It wasn't my case because they didn't even fucking let me play. But I don't know any people like that. So,
now you played both ways, right? You played little wide receiver, didn't you, in high school?
yeah, my senior year. So like, it was weird. Like the coach was shitty at Massillon when I was there. My sophomore year when I was on JV, like I was killing on varsity receiver, and I didn't play any receiver my junior year, but I ended up playing corner, being good. And then my senior year, I played both ways, and I didn't really get action at corner because my junior year I did really good, so they weren't really throwing my way. So basically, my senior year felt like I was a receiver because like I did everything at receiver, and I made all Ohio and everything. And then that's what helped me get recruited as an athlete at first.
Okay, so you were recruited as an athlete going both ways, not just as a corner. Then coming
Yeah.
into going into college. Okay. Now, how big into the now you were talking earlier? You were from Canton. Coming up, did you think you were going to be part of the Bulldog side of that rivalry? I mean, how into that did you get? Were you a little conflicted, or were you all in on the Tiger thing when you went to Massillon? What was up there?
I mean, like I said, I went to 12 different schools, so I wasn't really all in or anything. Like, so middle school, I went to Kent South.
Okay.
So what? I was born in Massillon. I did preschool in Massillon. I did kindergarten, first grade, second grade in Akron at Crosby Elementary. Third grade, I went to North Canton, basically like Hoover. I went to there, Claremont. Fourth grade, I went back to Kent City, and I went to Bellstone. Fifth grade, I went to Bellstone, Jackson, Firestone, and Akron, and moved to California all in the same year.
Oh wow.
And then I moved back to Ohio in sixth grade, and I went to Kansas City School for sixth grade, and then I went to Kansas South seventh and eighth grade, and then I went to Massillon for all my high school years.
Okay. I was researching the high school, man. I didn't realize this. I think it's my great grandmother's, my dad's side's cousin, Harry Stuhldrawer. He went to basketball. He played for Four Horsemen in Notre Dame. What was your record against McKinley? Did you beat him when you were at Massillon, or how did you guys do against him?
So are you counting like when I didn't play, or just my 4 years?
Just when you play. When you get the game doesn't matter when you're not playing.
My junior year, we lost to him by like a field goal. I think we got a dumbass penalty at the end of the game, and then they got a field goal. And then my senior year, we beat them twice in 1 year. We beat them at home, and then we played them in the playoffs, second round, and we beat them again.
How far did you get in the playoffs your senior year?
Man, we got to regional finals and got our ass whooped by Toledo Whitmer.
Okay. That's still nothing to sneeze a sick at, man. It's what was that division? What I mean, I don't even know the division.
D1 at the time. They moved to D2 the year after I left, I think.
Okay. Yeah, they got like 7 divisions or something now. It's like the WWE with the titles, man. They keep diluting it. You're gonna have like 15 divisions, and everybody gets a trophy.
It's been 7, I think, because of schools dropping. They're starting to realize that there's that many, because everybody used to be in D1, and now schools are like Hoban and Massillon. I want to say Glenville, maybe. I think they're all in like D2 now or something like that.
Yeah, Glenville dropped. Glenville was like 2 or 3, and they were always 1 for a while. Because what they did up here at Glenville, they would take because all the schools, because they passed this act. President George Bush, the second guy, he passed this No Child Left Behind Act. And the way in Cleveland is, technically all the schools are considered failing, so anybody who could ball would just go to Glenville, or you know what I mean. So they work around it, which is good. I mean, it gives the kids Glenville's a powerhouse some years, man. They were boss there for a while.
Yeah, they won a championship this past season.
That's good,
I know it's St. V. They're like, I don't know if they still are, but they were Division III. Cardinal Mooney was Division III. Like Toledo Central Catholic, they were always good. They were Division II. Trotwood. So it's like it's all different divisions. But I feel like Division I is definitely still the best. You got all the Cincinnati teams, the Columbus teams, all that.
Oh yeah. Now, for the recruiting process in college, where did you take? Did you take all 5 visits? Where'd you go for official visits?
No, I didn't. And what's crazy is I didn't know about it. I didn't know shit about recruiting. So when I got my offer from Northwestern, that was my first offer, I think. And I started getting more offers. And then the team up north, they offered me. And I was just like, damn, that's a big-ass offer. Like, I don't even play football. I'm like, shit, I might as well commit. I thought that's what you were supposed to do. So I committed to team up north early. And then I found out, they're like, yeah, you get your 5 visits for free, any school, da-da-da-da. And I'm like, shit, I'm about to go visit some other schools. And once because of my quarterback, he was going to go to Cincinnati, possibly. He was, like, heavy on Cincinnati. I was just going to go visit with him. Like, he was just like, just come on a visit. Because I wanted to play receiver, and schools were offering me for corner. And then once they found out I wanted to play receiver, that's when I started getting recruited as an athlete. But I was just like, man, I want to go visit other schools. I didn't know I had 5 visits and all this stuff. Coaches didn't tell me shit. So Michigan, they fucking threatened to pull my scholarship when they heard I wanted to visit other schools.
Damn.
And I was just like, all right, I'm decommitting. So I waited for Greg Madison to come to my school like he normally does, just on a regular visit, just to check on me. And I was like, yo, I'm decommitting. Like, I'm cool. I threatened to pull my scholarship. He was thinking I wanted to go to Ohio State because that's when they started recruiting me. He was like, you don't want to go up there. They're liars and they're this and that, just dogging them, like basically trying to make me not want to go there. And I was like, dude, I'm not even talking about Ohio State. I just wanted to visit other schools. I didn't even have to visit Ohio State. I wanted to go visit Cincinnati. Like,
right, it's a free party.
That's corny. What's crazy is he ended up at Ohio State coaching. And I had went back like this to visit Ohio State, and I seen him. I was like, it's crazy how you told me not to come here, and you ended up here.
Don't go there, son. Don't go there at all. Oh, by the way, I'm going there. Now, when you first walked out onto the field of the Horseshoe, was that a little surreal for you? I mean, I got 105,000 people that are screaming. What was that like, man?
Yeah, that was what you talking about, like when I just walked out to play or just walked on it?
When you're not 13, you're redshirt, you're regular 2014, your first year when you start playing. You
Yeah,
walk out there and you're in uniform. You know you're going to get some game action. How is this feeling?
yeah. No, I felt crazy. Like, I mean, I already felt a little bit of like tradition-rich program with Massillon, and we had like a lot of people. Like I know, where we had like 20,000 people at the McKinley game, and then when we went to the second game was at Kent State University, so it was even more. I think it was like 23,000 people. So I was just thinking like that was big as hell. Like, and then I go to Ohio State, it's 100,000 people. I'm like, damn, like this shit is live. Like I remember going on it in my freshman year, like just in the stadium for our stadium runs, and I'm just like, damn, this is gonna be loud as shit when people are in here. And then once I got on the field, though, I definitely was just like, this is crazy.
The place is a hard. I'm not gonna lie. Ohio Stadium is. I mean, I'm not like a millionaire, and I'm not like a booster. I didn't go to Ohio State. I went to Kent State, so like, I don't have like those connections. Like, but for people like me, regular people, not regular people. What the fuck is regular person anymore? But like, you know what I mean? Just every Joe Sixpack out there. That's not a fun place to watch a game, man. This place is so old. Like the sight lines are bad, and then you go up to the seats and you gotta squish in and run up an aisle. And have you ever like sat way up in the end zone section of a game and just seen it for? Oh god, dude, it's horrible.
No, I ain't never sat up there, but I did sit in the seats. It's definitely a little aged.
Yeah. They could probably got that bad boy do it, but who knows? They're probably never going to. He's like, oh, it's historic. It's a museum now.
Yeah.
Now, did you think in a million years that 2014 team was gonna win a title? Because I'll tell you, man, I'm a big Ohio State fan. I didn't think they were gonna do it. I thought Alabama was just gonna roll it, dude. And then you guys just came out and did it. And I was looking back at that roster, salivating at some of them names and memories. Joey Bosa, Zeke Elliott, Michael Thomas, 12 gauge with that bomb, deep arm, dude.
Yeah.
Like being in that was that season the most special, or was getting in the starting lineup for you? How cool was that 14 championship?
Yeah, I mean, it was fantastic. I mean, just to win the championship, and it was the first college football playoff ever.
Yeah,
it was amazing. And when we got back, like the whole fucking town or whatever you call it, I feel like Ohio State has its own city. It was just crazy. Like they canceled school and everything. They set a car on fire. It was all type of shit. But I only played special teams that year, so like I feel like I did a crazy amount of things to help win the championship. But I did my part, of course. Like the roles I had were important. But I feel like it was a special year. But my more special year, I felt like, was the next 2 years. I feel like my last year was more special as far as like the defense. Like I feel like that was the best defense I was a part of. But I don't know. Like everybody's gonna talk about the championship year, of course. But like I said, I didn't play corner that year, so I feel more special years when I actually played corner.
Yeah, that's kind of one of my next questions. But what would you, that 15 team? Would you think that was better or worse than I mean, obviously the 14 team won the championship. But I mean, if you look at that 15 team roster, I mean, it is a close loss in that. I think it was Michigan State game or whatever. But I would say that's a better team, man. Would you think that's the case too yourself?
Definitely. I think there was some problems. Like Zach said, I don't know if you've seen his podcast. He was talking about the coaching and play calling. We had Ed Warner as our damn OC, and I don't even know nothing about being an offensive coordinator, but I know that he shouldn't have been an OC. But it just, I feel like that team was definitely better. I thought we were going to repeat for sure.
I know, right? All right, we got a question from Lex. He's from the UK. He says, have you ever tried playing rugby?
No, I ain't never tried it. I know some people that do play rugby. I know Carlin Isles, he's from Massillon. He played rugby. I know he's really good at rugby.
Okay. We got a question from Angie. She says, if you weren't able to play football, do you have any other passions that you have delved into? I imagine like art, singing, shit like that.
Video games.
Video games?
No, I don't really do that. I mean, I just found a new passion right now. I train wide receivers and DBs right now.
Okay. What video games do you get into? Are you like a Madden guy? You get into like the war games, Call of Duty and shit like that? What kind of things?
Call of Duty. I play Call of Duty damn near every day.
Okay.
I was streaming for a little bit, but I'm not really into sports games like that. I like Call of Duty.
Okay. It's weird because like I would say, like, because I was in the service, but I like playing sports games. You know what I mean? But I don't like Call of Duty because, like, dude, my like, it's like you, if like for you, probably watching these football games or the video football games, it's probably like there was nothing like that when I played football.
Right.
And it's the same thing with the servers. It's like, dude, there's nothing like that at the service. Like,
Exactly.
they don't show like the hours of just sitting around doing absolutely fucking nothing. They just show like the 5 minutes of awesomeness, and that's it. And it's like, no, it's nothing like this.
Yeah, that's a great analogy for sure. Yeah, I
All right,
play fucking Call of Duty. I love war games. Like I love war games. And I play shit like Tetris and Solitaire.
Okay. Can I ask you about Urban Meyer real quick?
Yeah.
All right. Seeing what happened in Jacksonville, was there anything like that at Ohio State that you saw, or did he change?
Man, I feel like I think the people, because it's different in college and the league. I feel like people in the league, because it's just all grown men and shit, like they couldn't handle how he was. He's used to coaching 17, 18 to 21-year-olds, you know what I'm saying? So I feel like the shit he did there, they just wasn't fucking with it and just didn't like it, because I'm sure he was the same way that he was at Ohio State. Like he hits you and like roughs you up, like little stuff like that. He actually wants you to like push him back and like he's just like that. Like when they say he kicked the kicker, like I'm sure he just went past and just kicked him. And, like,
right.
He'll hit you like, be on your shit today. Like don't do this, or don't fuck up today, or just like shit like that. Like I think they wasn't ready for that, because he does whatever it takes to win too as well. So I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean the resume's there. Yeah, you look at what he did in Utah, and then he went to Florida, and then Ohio State. And,
yeah,
I mean the guy went
long ass practices or something, and they just didn't like how he operated.
Now, do you think Ryan Day's a solid coach, but there are rumblings. Do you think at any time Meyer will ever go back to Ohio State?
I don't see it. I mean, I could see it, but I don't see him going back. No, I don't see him going back. There's definitely different coaching styles, though.
100%. Now, you were 3-0 in Michigan against Michigan in your career. Now, I got a random hypothetical for you. Had you went to Michigan and say you took one or two guys with you, what do you think the record of Michigan would have? Do you think Michigan would have beaten Ohio State any of those years?
Depending on what guys I'm taking.
That's a good point. That's a good point. That's a very solid point.
Nah, I honestly, no, I still don't. The Ohio State team is loaded, man. Like each team from when I was there, it was just loaded. The team, my freshman year, I mean, that came down to overtime pick, so that was. I don't think it was overtime. It was the last play of the game. Tyvus got the interception, but other than that, I don't think so.
All right, we got a question from Elsie. She says, "This guy seems so chill. How do you get in the mindset for the game?" That's a good question. Like, what's your pregame ritual? And it kind of like listen to music and stare into space. You sit there and play on the phone for a little bit. What's the deal there?
No, I mean, pregame, I really be chilling. Like I listen to the music that's playing in the locker room. I can't really like put headphones on and just listen. I don't know. Like I'm real in tune with my mind and myself. So like I know how to turn shit on. I know how to turn shit off. I really don't have like a crazy ritual. I just be chilling. I mean, I do like my pregame meals and all that stuff, like just eating. But I don't have like, oh, I got to eat this meal every time. I just go in, read my keys, watch some little film. That's like my routine, just basic stuff. But
Emil's question leads me great to our next question. Randy asks, do you eat barbecue? And if so, what's your favorite barbecue food?
Killen's Barbecue. I had it yesterday. It's
okay.
It's down here in Texas.
Yeah. Where are you in? Where's is that by Houston, Dallas, Fort Worth? Where you at?
Yeah, I live in Houston, but
okay.
Started my rehab at Exos 2 weeks ago. This is my third week, so I drove up here so I'd have my car, so I don't have to get a rental.
Okay.
But I'm here Monday through Friday, and then sometimes I drive back, or sometimes I fly back. Because I train my players on weekends, and then I have a stepson. He's 15. He's on the 707 team and runs track, and I train him as well. So I go back every weekend.
Okay. Were you at that Houston rodeo thing they had over the weekend, or no?
No. I was at 707 all weekend. Yeah.
I got you. Now, what made you decided to leave early and not do your senior season? And if you hadn't been redshirted, do you think you would have changed on that? Maybe play your senior year? What's up with that?
I mean, for not redshirting, I mean, it would have depended on how I played. Me leaving my junior year, my redshirt junior year, I graduated and I was like, I'm done with this shit. I'm not doing another year of the off season, the training. Like hell no. Like, and I tell people all the time, like that Ohio State like strength and conditioning, like it made me a great player. Like it helped me be who I am and make it to the league. But I'd never do that shit again. Like if you ask me to do all that training and shit, hell no. Definitely helped me, but I would never do that shit again. So that's honestly, I mean, I was ready because I graduated, and then I was thinking about that, and I was just like, man, I don't care if I go undrafted, like I'm leaving. Like I know I'm good enough to play in the league. They were telling me I was like second round, third round possibly anyway, but I knew I was better than that, so I was just like, I'm definitely about to go.
Okay, we got news that said Killins placed in chicken at the rodeo. So they were at that rodeo I was just talking about, and they placed in the best chicken competition apparently. So that's good news.
Fried chicken?
I did. Was that fried chicken, barbecue chicken, baked chicken? Let us know what kind of chicken it was because I don't know.
So Sundays they have fried chicken. Only on Sunday.
Okay.
It's so fire. Like we were at the 707 tournament in the Woodlands, and I didn't even know they had a Killins up there. We were driving past. I made my fiance turn around so I could go get the chicken because it was Sunday.
Nice. My daughter asked me for Chick-fil-A later, and I was like, dude, Chick-fil-A is so expensive, man. It's like, I mean, it's okay chicken, but like that's a lot. Like by the time I go out there, it's gonna be like $25 for, and I'll have like 2 things of nuggets and a fry. It's not even worth it to me. I don't know, man. You know how it is with them kids, bro. They'll just do everything. They'll just expect it to happen. Like and they don't have no concept of money or time or anything. They just want it, you know.
Want it.
Ridiculous.
Sure.
Right. Now I looked at your numbers in the combine. I think you did pretty good, man. It says you ran a 4.4440, 37-inch vertical. That's pretty good, dude. So you're 6 foot tall. Can you dunk a basketball?
Yeah, easy.
Oh, nice. Well, you play basketball, so that's a fucking stupid question on my part. Now, do you think the trend towards these, guys like yourself, quarterbacks like 6 foot, 6'1", 6'2", do you think that's going to keep going? Because back when you'd have the cornerbacks, especially as one of the shortest guys on the field, 5'8", 5'9", 5'10". And then I don't know what the year was, but it started trending towards the guys who are right around 6 foot. And now it seems like everybody's 6'1", 6'2". Do you think that's going to keep going? Because it's inevitable. Do you think no?
No, it's definitely going to keep going. Like, because even if a kid is playing receiver, I see it now with Texas football and all these 7-on-7s and everything. A kid that plays receiver, they're trying to turn him into a DB. They just love lengthy DBs. And then a DB and I'm telling them now because I tell my players, like, everybody wants to play receiver. Everybody wants to get the ball, touchdowns, look cool, TV. So I said the guys that want to play DB, it's not easy, but it's an easier route for you to go to college and go to the league because everybody wants to play receiver. So if you're already a tall DB, when you walk in the room or walk on the field or whatever, they're all gonna be like, "Who's this?" Not even see you play yet. Like that, I feel like that's for receivers and DBs though. Like they just love these tall. Because if you're tall and you can run fast and you can move your hips, that's not natural. So they love that. Like I tell my stepson, like he hasn't even played a snap of varsity yet, and he's had college coaches talking to him because he's 6'3", and I'm just like, and he's fast and he runs good routes and stuff. But I'm like, bro, you haven't even done anything, and they're already talking to you. I'm like your presence, just when you walk in the room, they're looking at you like, who's this? You could be terrible, but they want to know who you are because of your size and your height. So, and then because the receivers are so tall, they want DBs to match up with that. The nickels are typically still like in that range of 5'8", 5'9" to 6 foot.
Okay. Now, how was draft night? Now, I was there in Philly that year because that was the year the Browns had like 3 picks in the first round or whatever, 2 in the first, whatever. It was we had a lot of picks, and it was like freaking hot, dude. It was really hot that day. I mean, that whole weekend was so fucking hot. Yeah. Now, were you in Philadelphia? Were you on the stage and all that? Were you there?
I flew to Philadelphia. Was it? I can't remember. It had to be the day before. I flew to Philadelphia the day before the draft, and as soon as I got there, before I even checked in, I was like going to the desk, and I said my name to the desk, and the NFL media guy, he came and grabbed me. It was me and my agent, and took me into like the little conference room or whatever. And he was like, "Did you see the news?" And I was like, "Nah, like I was just on the plane. Like it's early in the morning, the day before the draft. So I was just on a flight with news." And he showed me, and it said I had a rape case. So I had went back home because he was like, "We got a lot of media events and all that." He was like, "You can stay." He was like, "But all the media events that are already set up, like I know they're gonna ask you all this and bombard you with everything." So I was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna just go home." So I literally didn't even check into my room. I got on the next flight within like the next hour or two, back home to Ohio.
Okay. Okay. Now, did the let's see, did the Raiders scout you the hardest, or did you think you were going somewhere else, or what was like the process itself, like at the combine visits, shit like that? Who did the Raiders come the hardest? Do you think you're gonna go there? Was there an inkling? What was your hunch on that weekend?
No, what's crazy is I never talked. I didn't talk to the Raiders one time. I didn't have an interview with them. So like at the combine, I think I had like 20, 24, 25 interviews. Like the 24 or 25 teams. And Raiders wasn't even one of them. I didn't
Oh
talk to.
wow.
When I was getting recruited, I feel like the Bengals talked to me a lot. The Saints, or when I was going through that process, the Saints, the Bengals. I'm trying to think who else. I can't remember who else. But yeah, I didn't talk to the Raiders at all, and they ended up drafting me. I know the Ravens had that day of the draft, they had called my agent and asked me to do a lie detector test. And I feel like that's what helped me get drafted.
Oh wow. Now what okay, I gotta ask you, dude, what was it like how how they do it in the old dragnet and shit where they put you a little thing on there, they're sitting room, like, all right, tell me the answer, sir. Gary, I did
I
what was this process like?
put the little things on your arm or whatever to check your nervous system and everything. It's basically like that. But polygraphs, they're like iffy because like you can lie and be calm and it could read the truth or something like that. So, but I mean, obviously I passed mine and I was telling the truth, but I got vindicated with further evidence after that anyway. So, but
Right. I
past
can.
that, and then that was like literally like an hour and a half, 2 hours before the draft when I did the test, and I was like flying up 77 to go to Akron to drive to take the test. And then once I passed it, I had like hit up all my former teammates at Ohio State that were already in the league, like telling them to tweet it out, and it just got across like the platform. And then I'm sure that's not the only thing. Like teams they have their like inside sources and stuff, but that's what possibly helped me still get drafted.
Okay, nice, man. Now was playing at Ohio Stadium for like 100 some thousand people, and then you go to Oakland in a
Mhm.
stadium where they also play baseball. And they don't even try to
It's
cover it up. They still got the
dirt.
thing in the middle of the field, and they know they're moving in a couple of years. Is that like sort of a weird downgrade from your college career?
Yeah, it's a downgrade in general from when you go from a big program to NFL because you expect what you had at Ohio State or Bama or Clemson, and it's not that. It's a downgrade for sure. Not even just the fields or the stadiums, uh, to the trainers, the doctors, everything. Possibly some staffs that you work with is definitely a downgrade.
Oh wow, I never thought about that. So you're saying that Oakland, just when they were there, that it was actually more competent program kind of at Ohio State than it was in the NFL with Oakland.
Oh yeah, for sure. There's a lot
Wow.
of programs like that. From what I heard, I've only been to two, but I know Ohio State
Okay.
college they take care of you more. I mean, it's a step up because it's like you're a grown man, you got to handle shit on your own. But when you go from college to the league, you think like, oh, I'm gonna have the best this, the best that, the best trainers, the best coaches, the best. Like, nah, it ain't that. It ain't nowhere near close.
Now with I think that by then they knew the team was moving, right? When by the time you were drafted, did
They
that?
all that like I think it was after my first year is when they started talking about it. Because I played 2 more years there, and then they moved the year after that. Well, one
Okay.
they didn't have.
All right, we got some. I got a backlog of questions here. Sorry, guys. Let me catch up on the questions real quick. Some of them were a little out of order, and when I say out of order, I was going to talk about a lot of them. Ridiculous. Andrew, we'll get to that question in a while. Actually, that question too. All right, here's one from Angie. She says, "Any superstitions that you stick to during the season, like You wear the same socks, don't shave your beard, some shit like that.
No, I don't believe in any superstitions.
That's great. All right, Carla has a pretty general one. I guess this could apply to your college or pro career. What's the favorite game that you've ever played in?
In college, I'd have to say, I mean, my best game was Wisconsin. I love that game. But my favorite game would be the Team Up North game. My last year, 2016, we went to double overtime and won. And
Nice.
everybody rushed the field. It was crazy.
Okay. I've been to both stadiums and watched games. It was weird because I went with my one friend. I don't talk too much anymore, but I was because I get this thing called vet ticks, and you get like random free tickets to events. It's like, you know what? I'll go up to Ann Arbor because obviously you go up to Michigan anyways, you get the weed. But you go up there, I just want to see a stadium and like, neutral games because they're play like Western Michigan or something. And it's weird going in there as like I think I wore a brown shirt. I was the only person in the stadium who wasn't dressed in anything blue, I think. But it's you look around, it's just weird. Ann Arbor's a different vibe than Ohio State. It's like more, it's like a more uppity kind of, you know what I mean? Does that make sense? Like Ohio State's like the down ass party. Let's do this, get drunk, have fucked up, have fun. And Ann Arbor's like, oh, we can drink till 9, then we got to leave because my mom needs a house, kind of shit. That's the kind of vibe I get.
Yeah, I felt that when I went up for a game one time when I was getting recruited.
All right, we got a question from Angie again. If you could meet one of your heroes, dead or alive, who would it be?
I mean, I don't really have no heroes. I don't really know. This is one guy I follow on Instagram. His name is Steven. I think it's like Barnett or Barlett or something like that. He's like he's an inspirational speaker and everything. Like I would probably want to meet him because he like helps me with like mindset things, or somebody like Eric Thomas, just somebody that's like deep into the mind. I don't really got no heroes though.
Okay. All right. Now I got to flash forward to 2018. We were chronologically talking there where we were in your rookie year. Now we got to talk about this pick 6 against the Browns, September 30th, 2018. I remember that date. For those who don't barely remember, for those who were drunk like me at the time, and I had to go back and watch it, and it's traumatic. And I'll get into why it was not this. It's a randomly different traumatic event you may think. It's not like a traumatic thing. I'll get into that here in a second. So Baker dropped back to throw past Antonio Callaway. Ball was tipped. Gareon takes it. The guy right here takes it to the house. The Raiders go up like 7-0. Now at the game, this game ended up being the Raiders won 45-42 in overtime. And I'll never forget this game because that weekend it was the breaking point, dude. Because like the opening day, you got to think of my mindset this time. 2016, the Browns went 0-16. The next year they went 1-15. And maybe I can't even get the fuck years right. Maybe it was reversed. But you're talking 2 years of 1-31. We're coming in new year. We want to win. We're hoping we got it. And then the opening day, it comes out. It's a rain-soaked mess. It's a tie. Fucking Browns and Steelers tied 22-22. And we're sitting out here. The game's out in Oakland. We're just winning. And it was back and forth. And Hugh Jackson was the coach. And he should have started Nick Chubb. We had Carlos Hyde back there. And we lost. And I ended up doing this is so funny, dude. The next like 3-4 days, I was actually in rehab because I haven't drank since then. That was the last weekend I drank was that weekend. So you kind of made me sober with your interception there, starting to pick 6 and the Browns losing that game. Now, just from the other side of it, do you remember that game? I mean, obviously you remember that game, but like, was that a significant game for you guys? I mean, I don't remember if you guys went to the playoffs that year or not, but like that game really fucked me up as a Browns fan, dude. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, it was early in the season. It was like the 4th game, so it wasn't like crazy significant. I mean, every win in the league is significant. I got that pick. What's crazy is I slipped and I got that pick. Like I slipped, and then as soon as I got up, the ball was just flying in my hands, and then I ended up scoring. But I didn't even play like that whole game. They were taking me out. Like they were just on some trash that game. So I don't even think I played the 4th quarter of that game.
Oh wow.
Yeah. That year it was weird.
Yeah, speaking of that season, this is a good segue to the next question. This John Gruden, was he a culture shock compared to W the year before? What's Gruden like to play for in the pros? Well, I guess he's always been a pro coach, but like at that, I mean, because his prior success was 15 years ago. What was it like to play for him? At this next stage when he's not even there anymore.
I didn't care for him. I didn't care for him or the defensive coordinator at the time. We just didn't see eye to eye. It wasn't no like beef or nothing like that. Dude was just Bruno was just a little weird, and he didn't really keep his word, like he says, or like he tries to say. But it was just like I don't know, the culture just being there just wasn't it. Like it got to the point where I would like say like I was sick or my son was sick. My son didn't even live. My son lived in Ohio, and I was like, my son's sick. I can't come in. Like it got to the point where I didn't want to be in the building. Like I'm just like, bro, this is the game. Like I love competing to play. Like, and I don't even want to go in. Like it has nothing to do with me not like loving football. It's just I don't like what I'm doing when I go to work. You know what I'm saying? And it got to the point where when I got traded, I was so happy when he told me. Like I didn't even care what team I got traded to. I was just happy to leave. And I
That was
tell
actually my, that was actually my next question. Did you realize at some point you were going to be traded, or was that out of the blue? Or and you say you're happy? What was that?
I felt it. I felt I was going to be traded. I didn't know it was going to be. Well, I kind of did. I didn't know it was going to be right at that time. But I felt it. Earlier in the season, when the season that I got traded, it was when Eli Apple, that's my best friend. He got traded to the Saints, and Gruden coming up to me and while we were warming up for practice, he's like, "All your buddies at the Saints, you know, all your buddies over there." He's like, "You want to go over there? You want to go to the Saints?" I'm just looking at him like, "Wait, what are you talking about, bro? Like, get out my face, bro. Like, just corny shit like that is what type of shit he'd do." And then I remember when I got traded, I didn't even talk to him. I didn't talk to because usually when you get traded, you have like your action meeting with the head coach, the defensive coordinator, your position coach, the trainers, the GM. I was lifting, and I guess I got traded while I was lifting. I didn't even know. And as I'm walking through the hallway, Mike Mayock, he was in the hallway, and he was like, "Hey," he was like, "Did you hear the news?" I'm like, "No." Like he was like, "Oh, we traded you to the Houston Texans." I was like, "All right," and then I just walked in the locker room. And then I met with my position coach and then did the little trainer stuff. And then I left like within like 30 minutes. Like I didn't talk to Gruden. I didn't talk to Paul Gunther. It was just like they didn't give a fuck, which I didn't give a fuck. I was ready to leave because I had my worst 8 games in my career that season with the Raiders. And I got traded to the Texans and I had my best statistically. I had my best 8 games and my worst 8 games in the same season. It's crazy. Like it shows you it's more than just football, X's and O's.
Right. Randy says he lives in Houston. 2018 was a good year for the Texans. The city loves their football team. And that leads me to my next question. Speaking of Houston in the 2019 season, when one Deshaun Watson was killing it, describe, now this is a little obscure, so you got to bear with me. Describe what a fully functional Deshaun Watson means to a football team for those of us Browns fans who may have completely be deflated this year. Because I'm not going to lie, Gary, on this last year, with the offseason and the suspension and then the super suspension because they overtook the guy's suspension who they hired. You know, we're not going to get into that again. We're not going to go there. But it was really deflating, dude. This was a rough year. Tell us how good Deshaun is when he's just fucking on, bro.
Nah, he's fucking elite, man. Like that year, man, we should definitely beat the Chiefs. We're up 24-0. It was some bullshit, but no, he's elite for sure. I feel like he's gonna have a really good season this season. I watched him work, practice, and in games. Like he's really good. I seen like some little way too early ratings the other day, and they had him at like 24 behind like Andy Dalton and Purdy, and just I'm just like, bro, y'all crazy, but that's good because like they're gonna just like fuel him up. So,
right, that's what I'm thinking, and I'm going to carry absolutely no hope going into this year just because I can't get my hopes up again like 2019 and 2021. Seems like every other year. So I'm just not. But, I mean, we'd have to be idiots if we sit here and say Deshaun's not a top 10 quarterback until he proves it. I mean, you go through the shit that he went through in the media and in 2 different cities and all this. And regardless of what happened, just go through that personally. Think of all that times people calling you stuff that you didn't do. They're using incendiary language. That takes its toll on people, dude. It fucks you up.
I know the whole feeling.
You're right. I'm speaking to the choir over there. Fuck.
I went through 5 years of it, man.
Oh, my God. Fuck with that.
But, yeah, y'all got the same team, though, right? Like, nobody left?
Yeah, I mean, on defense, we're going to lose Jadeveon. And but the defense is what worries me about the Brownies. We need some linebacking help. We need some defensive linemen like it's nobody's business. I think we're kind of set. I think on the secondary, we probably use a little bit of depth maybe, but and we spent a lot of first-round picks on cornerbacks. I mean, they got your boy went to Ohio State, Denzel's there, and you still got Grant Delpit, and then the other guy, I can't remember his name. Yeah, and then JOK's back there, the Swiss Army knife. So I mean, who knows? Who knows?
Yeah, no,
I would love it.
Good though, like him and Amari, this should be really good together.
Oh, I got so much hopes for Amari, man. Yeah. All right, we got a question from Andrew. He says, "Were you surprised by how the Raiders did Derek Carr?"
Not at all. He was the last one left since I've been there. Like I was talking to one of the teammates I met at the Raiders. He's training with me at Exos. I was like, bro, Derek was the last one left. Like out of all of us, like they just got rid of everybody that was there. So when I was there, it's crazy. No, I don't. I'm not surprised.
All right, we got a question from Mike. He says, if you could pick a team, basically, what would you play for if you had the ultimate choice?
Right now, I would want to go possibly. I mean, just because of my family and everything, the Texans, because they got a new coach, and D'Amico Ryan, and I watched his defense, and I like the way he plays it, or his scheme. And that would just be an ideal situation. So I wouldn't have to move anything. I could be around my family. But other than that, like any team, I mean, of course, I've been talking to people back home, and they say, when we go to the Browns, I was like, I have no problem going to the Browns. Like being there with my boy Denzel and with that offense and that defense. But any team, honestly, because I haven't played in 2 years. So any team, any opportunity, I'm taking, regardless of where it's at.
Right. That's why I held your question to now, Andrew, because I assume you were going to play again. You're still a younger guy. You can still kill it. And the Browns question, I actually had that. You come back to the Browns, you complete the Paul Brown trifecta of Massillon, Ohio State, and the Browns, which no other player has done. Chris Spielman came close back in '99, but he never played a regular season game. So you'd be the first person since Paul Brown to do that, dude. And then you and Paul Brown in one class. It's a pretty exclusive class, man. So I would definitely consider coming up here. I mean, obviously you'd have to get be ready to play, get a tryout and stuff like that. But I mean, I'm not going to lie. Gareon Conley on the Browns will work out pretty fucking fine for me.
No, I definitely want to play again. That's why I'm doing my rehab up here. Okay. I haven't been able to run without pain in 2 years.
Oh, jeez, man.
I'm getting fucking surgeries. I had like 6 surgeries. None of it fixed anything. So,
okay, we got a question from Miss Piggy. She says, "Can you ask about some of the wild parties? How do football players party?" So that's a good question. Any epic parties? I mean, I've been down to Ohio State. I mean, that was years ago compared to when you were there. But tell us about some fucking awesome parties you had over the years. Like, I'm assuming college is probably more fun than the pros. But any epic parties you remember you want to tell us about?
Nah, college is fun, but I mean, for me, the pros, this is like you go anywhere, so it's definitely more lit. In college, I remember we had this Joey and Zeke. They were like, I think it was a couple other players. It was like a whole bunch of players that were cool with this frat. They had like the biggest house on I want to say that was Indianola Street. It was like Indianola and 15th. It was like this big ass house. You had to like go up like 20 yards of a hill to get to the house. It was a frat house. And I remember they let us have a party there, and it was so lit. Like, it was crazy. I remember we got into a fight in the street, like, after the party. It was, like, during, but, like, we were about to leave. We got into a fight, a whole bunch of players in the street. That was probably the most lit party that I've been to, like, a house party. And then, of course, anytime we went out, it was a lit party. And I remember a couple of times we just get into fights, and it was just crazy. It was wild.
Hell yeah. Hey, we've all been there. We had the same thing in the service too. Usually when the party goes out in the street, it's either one of two things. Somebody's drank an entire bottle of liquor, like 80 proof or higher, or somebody's girlfriend did something stupid and they're just out in the street like, come on, man. Then somebody takes their shirt off. And it's like, right, it's like, calm down, Hulk. We'll get over this. I've got a question from Andrew. He says, do you mind playing the slot?
Like nickel?
Yeah.
They say, no, I played nickel my last year. I ended up actually That's what actually helped my stock kind of because I played outside in nickel. I play anywhere.
Okay. Got a question from Mike. He says, "You ever get a call from Dallas? You got an interaction? You ever talk to Jerry's World?"
No, I never. I mean, I talked to them pre-draft. I went on a visit there, but after that, no, I haven't talked to them. I'm actually staying at Malik Hooker's crib right now because he lives in Frisco.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been to when I was out in Dallas. Frisco's in that Dallas Fort Worth area, ain't it? I was in
Yeah.
my buddy lives in McKinney, Texas. So that's where I was.
Like 15 minutes from McKinney.
Yeah. All right, we got a question from Randy. He says, "What do you think about this new Texans team, the Roughnecks XFL, New Houston team?"
I don't watch sports, so I don't know nothing about it.
Hey, Randy even admits it too. He says, "I'm not a sports person," so Randy's just trying to ask the fitting questions, I guess. I've got a question from Captain. He's in Northern Ireland. I mean, you kind of answer with your not watch sports question, but do you have any experience with he calls it proper football, overseas soccer? You know, it's soccer. You know what I'm talking about? Do you have any desire? You ever watch any soccer? When you're little, did you play soccer? Like when you were little at all? No.
My son plays soccer.
Okay.
I ain't never watched soccer.
All right, now in terms of music, this is a little before your time because you were born in the '90s. But if I was to give you one band between Queen and the Beatles, who would you pick?
The Beatles, because I don't know what Queen is.
It is a no Queen, Captain. You're gonna get a spanking from the chat. That's great. That's great. Now, now tell me about being a cornerback in the hip movement. Now, why do cornerbacks seem to be one of the positions that ages out so fast? It's like hard. Is it hard to learn to move the hips and pivot and run full speed downfield like that, as opposed to when you're a wide receiver and you're just running route? Is it just some people just can't grasp that hip movement? Is that why cornerbacks just flame out so fast? I mean, guys like MD Nashimwa, and it's hard to say his name, but Revis Island, it seems like once they hit 30, they're done. I mean, it's what's up with that?
I mean, that's why I say it's like the hardest position because it's the most taxing on your body. I mean, of course, like D linemen, O linemen, linebackers, they hit. The impact there, brain wise, it's a lot in like physical impact. But impact as far as striking the ground, like people don't understand. Striking the ground and jumping and landing is a whole body impact. Like from your feet to your fucking neck. Like it's a lot. And we're running nonstop against guys that are fast as us or faster, strong as us or stronger, and we don't know where they're going. So it takes more muscles and more energy to react than to like just do an action. If I'm reacting off of somebody else, it takes more energy to do that. It takes more energy to backpedal than to run fast forward. So it's a lot of impact. And like you said, it's a lot of hip movement when I got to turn and they got 4 seconds or possibly longer to just run around and I'm basically playing tag with a guy that's fast as shit. So
does that ever hurt you? Like when you're running and you cock them hips, does that ever throw your hips out or something like that? I mean, it's got to fuck it up, no?
You get on the line. When I wake up every day, I'm on the line. So, and then you'll feel like spasms sometimes if you turn too fast or too hard. And like I said, it's just reaction. So you're not thinking about, oh, let me make sure I turn the proper way. Like I got to react to this ball. If I'm turning like a little bit the wrong way and I got to hurry up and turn around, I could possibly pop my hip. If I step back for a break and my foot is out of my frame, I could tweak my groin. Like it's all little shit that could just possibly lead to a lot of injuries. And like I said, we don't really come off the field. Like you can get a receiver that ain't worth shit just running down the field, and I got to cover him because I don't know if he's getting the ball or not. Even if I do know, I still have to cover him. And then they sub out. I got to come back to the line, and then they put their star receiver in to run a route, and I got to cover him again. And then they take him out and put another receiver in. So it's the most taxing for sure.
Andrew asks, what are your thoughts on DeMar Hamlin? I'm imagining that in terms of the injury and stuff like that. Was that it's pretty wild, right? Like he came back. Thank God he came back so fast. But like, I mean, when you saw that, have you ever had any issues like that? Like, have you ever been concussed to the point where they maybe not need an ambulance, but where hey, get up, Gareon, that kind of thing?
The first game of 2018, it was 2018 or 19, I forget. I got carted off the field, or second game. I got carted off the field because I didn't need to, but because I blacked out, they said I had to go to the hospital. They could check my neck and everything. What's crazy is my teammate's leg hit me, and I thought I got hit like by a person. my teammate's leg after I made a tackle. He like flew over the top and his thigh like just smacked my head and it went like that. And it just like gave me basically. And I blacked out for probably like a couple seconds. And I was just laying there. And then when I came back, they were like, "We got to take you to the hospital. Make sure your spine and everything was all right." I had the same thing happen the year before at the Bengals game. And I was jumping up in the air to break up a pass, and I came down and I smacked my head on the ground like that and just like blacked out. And I had a concussion that next week. But for him, like that shit was scary the way he got up and then just like he was just out of it. That shit is super scary. And I'm just glad he's all right. I'm grateful that he's all right. And there's a lot of other players that need to be cognizant of that shit because we try to play through it. I know I played through a couple mild concussions. You just got to be really aware because a lot of people don't really take it serious as far as like, oh, I just want to play through it, and just taking one game off or a week off is not. It's not bad if you can save your life. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Well, that's good. Sounds like the NFL. I mean, based on what you've told me there and what I saw that night, I mean, they're starting to take the concussion protocol a lot more seriously. But I mean, as guys, we just, guys just tend to tough it out. I mean, guys, it's always be a man about it, man up. Which is always what we do. We don't tend to like we're the last. We only go to the hospital when it's absolutely necessary. That's what people are like, oh, why are guys such whiny bitches when they get sick? It's because we got stuff to do. We're not trying to, every time something hurts, we're just gonna push through it. Right. But like, do you think, obviously Deshaun got that nice guaranteed contract. Do you think eventually they're gonna have to go to that? Because I mean, it's kind of not fair to some of these guys coming in, man. They do a year or two and then there's, their heads messed up and they just can't do anything, and then they don't even get the rest of their contract. Do you think eventually we're gonna go to that guaranteed contract model or what?
Honestly, I don't know, man. Our union versus the NFL is crazy. So I don't know, but it definitely should be like that. Like we play the highest risk injury sport. Like I've had shit. Devin, I remember Devin. He said he tore his ACL in a fucking walkthrough. Like it's a walkthrough. Like, but it's just shit that happens. It's like why I do the most highest impact injury game ever, and I can't even get a fully guaranteed contract. Like this shit is crazy. The coaches are getting damn near fully guaranteed contracts. So like,
right. And not to mention it's billions of dollars for the owners. I mean, how many billions do those guys need when they got the, hopefully that this YouTube TV drops the price of the Sunday ticket. I don't know. At the end of the day, I don't really get it because it's like I go to most of the Browns games, and by the time I come home, everything's either on Red Zone or, if the Browns usually do like the Browns do, I'm so pissed off. I just don't want to watch any football for the rest of the day. You know how it is when you lose a game. You're just like, I mean, obviously I'm not pro, but you lose a game, you're like, fuck, I'm not watching any football.
I don't watch it anyway.
Now, have you been contacted for any 10th year championship team reunions yet for Ohio State?
No, I haven't.
That's gonna be something to be cool though. Like coming up, it's always gonna be part of your life, right? Like no matter what happens, you're always gonna be, you'll be 80, and they'll be like, "Oh, this is the 60th anniversary of the reunion and shit." How cool is that gonna be, right?
Yeah, that's gonna be dope for sure. Yeah, I was a captain too. I know they had the little thing where they do the captain's dinner. They bring like some captains back to have like the dinner the Friday before the game, stuff like that. They do a lot of traditions over there.
Okay. Now, your opinion, are Ohio State fans get a lot of flack. I mean, and I will admit there are some Ohio State fans that are a little out there. I mean, Herb Street, you see what he moved to Tennessee because he didn't want to deal with them no more. Online, they can be a little rough. I don't really go in many of the Ohio State groups because, I mean, some of these guys, I don't know. I mean, half of them probably didn't go to college. So it's like when these guys got going to college and they start talking about stuff, it's really rough looking at their opinions. Yeah. Do you, so it's like, so would you say Ohio State fans are any better, worse than like Michigan, Clemson, Oklahoma, et cetera? Or is that just the perception in the media? What do you think?
No, I mean, I feel like we have a wider fan base because we're just like everywhere. Like I've met so many people out in Houston. They got like a club, or not a club. They got like a bar that they have watch parties at, and like alumni associations are everywhere. I feel like our fan base is just wider, but I don't feel like they're any better or less. I mean, of course, I feel like they're better than Team Up North because
right.
We're better than them at everything. But there's a lot of fans in sports that just they don't know what the fuck they talking about, and then there's fans that do. So I feel like everybody has a right to their own opinion, but there's a lot of dumbass fans and there's a lot of smart fans.
Do you run into a lot of that on Twitter and social media? Just like some people just maybe you're just like just stop, just shake your head. I mean,
I don't really like talk on social media like about like I always try to feed into the positive, but it's just every now and then where a fan just says some dumb shit and I just gotta like just shut up.
Right, like stop it there, neck beard guy. Calm down, you'll be all right.
Yeah, because I'm a fan. Like when I watch Ohio State, I'm not a player no more. I'm a fan. So, but I've played, so I know certain things. But it's just like I know when to say something, I know when not to, as a fan.
Okay. Now, have you ever gotten to meet any NBA stars like LeBron, Garnett, Durant, any of those people? Because you're a basketball guy.
The Cavs, 2016, they came to the Team Up North game that year.
Okay,
so
nice.
I didn't really like meet them because everybody was being thirsty for him. I didn't care to like meet him or nothing. I'm not really a starstruck person, so I didn't care. Like he was there and he like talked to the team and stuff, but I didn't actually like talk to him or anybody.
I'm the same way with the starstruck people. I mean, I've talked to so many people. After you talk to 100 people, it's like we're just, maybe it's just the older you get, you're just like whatever. I mean, when you're a kid, it's like you look up to athletes and they're larger in life. But yeah, when you see them and you're just hanging out, you realize it's just normal people like us just trying to get through the day and get healthy and make money.
We all bleed the same way. We all put our pants on the same way.
Exactly, man. Now I'm 46 and you're 27. Do you think in mine or your lifetime the Browns will win a Super Bowl? And if so, is Cleveland cursed or what's the deal there?
I don't think they're cursed. I don't believe that, but they could possibly win one. I feel like this year was like open for real. Like I don't think anybody thought the Eagles were going to win the Super Bowl at the beginning of the year. So
Jalen Hurts surprised the hell out of me. I didn't think Jalen Hurts was going to do shit, dude. He just came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
I read a crazy stat that said the last 17 quarterbacks that went to the Super Bowl and lost in their first time, they never went to another Super Bowl again. So that proves. I mean, 17 times, dude. That's a lot crazy in a row.
Nah, if they keep the same team, I feel like they could go back. That's a really good team.
I sure hope so, man. Yeah, no. So let's check it out. Maybe the Nexus of the Universe. Here we go. If you come to the Browns, that'll complete the Paul Brown trifecta, ending the curse of Paul Brown, and then the Browns can go to the Super Bowl because the curse is over. And dude, if you did that, you'd be like a hero. We'll build a statue. I'll build a statue myself. Like I'll just gut the rest of the house. I won't even do the renovations. I'll go out in the street and build a fucking Gareon Conley statue and put Brown's Super Bowl trophy. So you got to figure it out, man.
They call me. I'm telling you, I'll go wherever, man. It don't matter. Like I said, I haven't played in 2 years, so any opportunity that's available, I'm taking it.
All right. Let's see. Do you ever get this is actually a good question. Do you ever get pissed when announcers saying certain things like when people skip Stephen A, etc.? You ever listen to like the ESPN shows and anybody says something, you're like, shut up, shit like that?
I don't watch them, but I'll be seeing like if I'm on Instagram or Twitter, somebody will like just post a snippet of some dumb shit they said. Yeah. Stephen A, he's annoying to me. Skip is annoying to me. I like Shannon though, but those two, they're definitely annoying. I don't really watch shit like that because, like I said, it's just gonna be some dumbass shit that ain't worth my time. So.
I don't either, dude. People ask you sometimes like, "Why did you go to sportscasting?" You left. I was like, dude, it's fucking boring. I mean, you can listen to there's a local guy here named Ken Cartman. He does his radio show in the morning, but 90% of the time they're just talking about the same thing with the Browns quarterback or this or it's so fucking repetitive and they've overdone it. I mean, back in the day, maybe because it was cool, you go on once a week, but with 24-hour sports networks and YouTube, especially because like everybody wants to be a fucking a sportscaster, so they all have opinions. The second something comes out, there's 15 different opinions on it. It's tiresome, man. It really is. Andrew makes a good point. Andrew makes a good point. He says, I can't build shit. He'll have to come up from Dayton. That's true. I am not a handyman. That's why I'm a comedian and talk show host, because if it was, they would probably fall over. We probably would. Now, you touched on this for a little bit, but besides the video games working out, you got any other hobbies? Do you like, I don't know, do you There's got to be something besides. Well, maybe not. I guess video games working out kind of pretty much take care of you. You got the kids you watch. What do they? Your 15-year-old. You work out. What do you envision for the 15-year-old? You think he's going to end up playing football, basketball? What do you think?
He plays football. That's what I trained him. I started training him, and then I ended up training like 5 or 6 of his teammates, and then I started just getting out and like all the schools around like our area in Houston. I started training some of those kids.
Okay.
But he plays receiver. He runs track as well, and then he has like the 7-on-7 teams. But yeah, basically like my hobbies is just like I just like kicking it with my family, just chilling with my family, playing with my kids, training DBs and receivers. That's really it. Man, like I said, I play a lot of word games if I'm not playing Call of Duty.
Hell yeah, low key and just chilling, man. I dig it. This actually kind of led to my next question. Would you ever like to get into coaching at some point after the football's kind of said and done? Like, or would you just kind of just be a trainer? You think?
Yeah, I don't know about coaching. Coaching is a lot. I don't really want to work for nobody either. So that would be a problem, depending on unless I like work under somebody that I really mess with. And then just coaching is a lot of politics and just a whole bunch of bullshit. Like I see these coaches like around the schools, the high schools that I live at, like even my son's high school, like coaches are just they got a fixed time schedule, and I feel like coaches don't even really teach shit. That's why there are trainers. That's why there are personal trainers and DB trainers, because coaches aren't really teaching shit right now, and they're like in a bind as well because of like if you coach too hard now, kids are soft. Parents don't want their kids coach hard, or just it's a whole bunch. So coaching really, I mean, if I had to like take a coaching job, it'd have to be like a coordinator, of course. But I'd just rather be a trainer because I can do it my way, and I can catch this kid out. And if you don't want it, take your ass home. Like
right, bye. Exactly. Like, sign his waiver, move on. All right, we kind of touched. I think we already know the answer to this, but from Troy, Troy's here in Ohio. Do you still watch Buckeye games and hold hatred in your heart for that team up north? We know about the hatred because he hasn't referred to them by name. Which, for those not from Ohio, we call Michigan that team up north, that school up north, because it's just a funny little thing Woody Hayes started. It's a cool little thing. Every year they go around campus and they'll put little X's over the M's and stuff. It's kind of fun.
No, I still watch some games. Like I said, I don't really watch sports, so I haven't really. I think the only game I did watch this year was the team up north game. And then the versus Georgia. But I don't really watch the games, but definitely still fuck the team up north.
Some of the games are hard to watch. I'm not gonna lie. Not the end of the season games are fine. Like when they're playing Penn State, Michigan later on, the bowl game, whatever. But like the early games when they're playing Akron or Savannah State or whatever, God bless it. But I know they're gonna win 68-10, whatever. I just don't. It's wasting my time. I mean, maybe watch the first quarter, see who starts, and that's about it. It's like. Right. It's like they worth it, you know what I
mean? Yeah. They like pay or something. They pay to play those games, so that's why they do them.
Yeah, they'll give Troy University $300,000 to come up here and play a game or some shit. Crazy shit. All right, we got a question from Andrew. You don't have to answer this if you don't want to, but do you enjoy edibles?
Nah, I don't mess with weed for real.
All right, doesn't mess with me.
Heavy, like in high school, I smoked so much. But once I got to college, because I never drank. And that's when I went on my visit, fucking Devin and Duran, I forget who else, man, they got me so lit. Like I never drank. I was just so lit. And then when I got to college, I just stopped smoking, and then I ended up starting drinking. So I haven't really smoked since, probably 1 time, 2 times in college. But high school was like, I was a stoner in high school.
See, I was opposite. I was a total drinker, man. I threw down, dude. And this is, 91, 92, 93. I used to drink, and I'm from Cleveland, dude. We would just go to the corner store, and I had a mustache, so they just sold me whatever. They didn't give a fuck. I was drinking St. Ides, Old English, fucking, because it was like, back then, because I could get 240s of St. Ides and a box of Marlboro Reds for $5. And $5 is nothing. I'm working Long John Silver's making 4 1/4, so that's a good night. And 240s of St. Ides will knock you over. I mean, I'll knock you on your ass. And when I got to service, I just drank like a fish anyways. And then when you're tired, though, the drinking just got out of control, so I couldn't deal with it no more. That's why I started really hard in the weeds. And I'm a known stoner now. I'm practically a fucking advocate at this point. So I kind of did the reverse to you because I love the weed. I fucking, oh, man, I dig it.
Yeah.
I mean, a question from Andrew. He says, any advice for hip replacement rehab? Andrew's a vet, one of my vet buddies down in Dayton. He's a really good guy.
Hip replacement, I'm not like detailed on a hip replacement. I know hip injuries, you have to do a lot of strengthening. So I went to a hip doctor, but that was like 6 or 7 months ago, and they said strengthen rather than stretch. So people think like, oh, when I mess up my hip or my groin, I need to stretch more. No, you need to strengthen more. Do a lot of glute, hip, adductor and abductor strengthening. It helps a lot. My hip was tight the past couple of weeks, and I was doing a lot of stuff in rehab this week. Get like resistance bands and do a lot of glute and glute, low back, hip, groin. A lot of like strengthening, because people don't know like it's all attached to your pelvic floor. So like if your lower back is hurting, it's probably because your glutes aren't firing, because your glutes is weak, or your hip is or tight. Or if your hip is tight, it's probably because your glute isn't firing and it's weak. Or if your glute isn't firing, it's probably because your hip is tight. Like it's all connected. So that would be my suggestion.
Okay. Now, do you have anything to promote like that? And how do people get a hold of you?
I mean, promote my training, but it's in Houston. If anybody has kids with 5th grade to high school, I do training for receivers and DBs. Contact me on Instagram, Twitter. I got an Instagram page for my Conley Island training and my regular page. I try to look at like, because I got the like requesting or whatever, but I try to look at my requests even for people I don't follow. Like I try to be like social. That's been like my main goal. What that was 2021. I started like saying I wanted to network more because I don't really talk to people. So I started like just being more social and networking more and just talking to people.
Good stuff, man. I appreciate you. Thanks for coming up to talk with me, sir. It's been an honor. Like you said, to check out him on Instagram if you're in the Houston area, you got some DBs in the works, young guys ready to tear it up. And I hope you have a fantastic day. Don't forget tomorrow, guys, 5 p.m. Jacques Rougeau is going to come on and talk about the Wrestling Academy, so that should be fun. And as always, we'll see you next time. Take it easy.
Yeah, appreciate it.